Hey there, how are you doing? It's been a while. In today's episode, I'd like to share my 5 key takeaways from Osho's book, Creativity. When we meet creative people, we feel a tinge of envy. After all, they're getting to build something, they are engaged in what they do, they found their purpose. We, on the other hand, are just ambling through life trying to find its meaning, obeying our parents and bosses and scrolling through our phones nonstop. We don't have a choice, right? But here's the thing. You do have a choice. Life does not have meaning. It's an opportunity to create meaning. And this opportunity does not come when you create something new or grand or amazing. It comes from being creative, which means that you do the things that you're doing, but you do them differently in a way that's useful for other people, regardless of whether you're a student or a CEO, a stay-at-home parent or an entrepreneur, a 9-to-5er or a YouTuber. This book, Creativity, which is basically Osho's compilations of writings and lectures on the subject, teaches you exactly how you can build that trait in your life, even if you think there's nothing you do that will make you creative. It will show you how to prepare a blank canvas so that you can paint the kind of life you want on it. It will make you aware why self-consciousness and belief systems and all these kind of things are actually obstacles to your personal growth. And it will teach you how to ask the right kind of questions so that you can build creativity in your mind and in your life. So, here are my 5 key takeaways from the book. Takeaway number 1, creativity is the fragrance of freedom. Freedom basically means liberation from any limitations holding us back. The biggest among which today is our mental conditioning, which has turned us into a robot. Honestly, think about it. The things we own, the things we do, how we live our lives, it's just us copying what we see from other people in real life and in real life. The result, no matter how much we have, no matter what we're doing, we always feel hollow and angry. So however much we're succeeding in the outside world, we're failing in the inner world. And it's even worse for people who are failing at both. Meanwhile, creativity is about living life on your terms. Because you're doing the things in front of you, no denying, but you're doing them in a way that is unique to you. That is when you find your own answers. You fall in love with the task and you discover your own uniqueness. And that is what gives your life meaning and makes you enjoy it. So here is one thing you can do today. Take a routine activity, whether making breakfast, commuting, or a business meeting, and approach it differently. And notice how this tiny break from your conditioning will help you change the way you see the whole world, or at least that activity or that task to begin with. My second takeaway is about the 3 C's in an enriched human being. To live a wholesome life, we must evolve in 3 dimensions: being, feeling, and action. To achieve this, Osho suggests a path: consciousness in being, compassion in feeling, and creativity in action. We must be meditative like the Buddha, loving like Krishna, and creative like Michelangelo. And that too, all at the same time. Ignore any one dimension, and no matter how much you achieve, you're going to feel incomplete and you're going to feel miserable. A lack of the 3 C's is why so many people's lives today have become mundane and cold. Like Osho says, logic is cold. It is good as far as mathematics is concerned, but not as far as humanity is concerned. If humanity becomes too logical, then it disappears. Then there are only numbers, not human beings, replaceable numbers. And that's why we see whenever people talk about humans today, we're just talking statistics. But when you embody the 3 C's, then you notice that the way you engage with the world changes. Your tasks will be the same, but the way you engage will transform. So here's what you can do today. Set aside just 5 minutes to engage in all the 3 C's together. Sit quietly and observe your thoughts, that's consciousness. Extend genuine well wishes to someone you generally tend to overlook, that's compassion. And solve a small problem in your mind in a different way, that's creativity. My third takeaway is my favorite from this book, which is the difference between action and activity. Action is when we respond based on time, space, and situation. Whereas activity is just an excuse for us when the situation just becomes an excuse for us to do something that we can't stop ourselves from doing. Today, activity consumes us. We can't stop ourselves from scrolling endlessly, from working long hours on things that are not required, from non-stop shopping, Why? Just to avoid doing the things that the situation demands. Spending time with the family, skilling up, being thoughtful, exercising to become fit, and so on. The result is that life feels like a curse. We are waiting for this life to get over so that we can get mukti or liberation. But bro, if you hate this life, you're not getting mukti. You are definitely coming back. So the most effective way for you to take care of this would be to see this life as a boon. Because the moment you do that, life becomes interesting and you become an interesting person. That's because whatever you do, whether you're working, whether you're playing, whether you're engaged in a hobby, or even if you're sleeping, you give that task your 100%. You say no to distractions, you do what's in front of you, and you move on. Osho says, activity is when the action has no relevance. It is your escape from yourself. In action, you are. In activity, you have escaped from yourself. It is a drug. So here's what you can do today. Identify one activity that you often indulge in and pause before doing it. Maybe before scrolling to the next video after watching this one, pause and ask yourself, does this situation that I am in demand this specific type of response? Think wisely, choose, and then proceed. Takeaway number 4, your ego is cheating you. Here's one more thing I want to tell you about activity. It stems from your ego. The ego is a fake self we create because we cannot understand our real self. And we need a self to live, right? Osho says this is like buying plastic roses for your garden. You know that you will struggle to grow real roses. At least the plastic ones will fool your neighbors. And that's exactly what ego does. It gives you a label for the outside world. You know what the problem with this is? The outside world will start deciding what you should and shouldn't do. People will say, oh, you didn't buy this stock, or you haven't watched this show, or you don't know about this internet trend, or you don't know that new product that's on sale. You're probably living under a rock, and you're going to chase all those things in trying to ensure that you live up to your ego and your image that people have of you. Bro, I don't know whether you're living under a rock or not, but the ego is like a rock that's tied around your neck. Let go of it. Break it, and you will notice that you start feeling weightless. And that is when you become conscious. And the end of your ego is the beginning of your creative life. So here's what you can do today. When someone is speaking, genuinely listen to them rather than thinking about how you are going to reply. Such kind of listening is the simplest way to dissolve your ego. And the 5th and final takeaway is about discipline, or how to bring this discipline in our lives. Before we answer that question, think about this. How would you look if you wore my clothes? Silly, right? They would probably be too tight or too loose, too large or too small, too colorful or too bland. That's exactly what happens when we borrow other people's ideologies, their templates, and their beliefs. In the beginning, we might feel intelligent and we might even have some fun. But as time goes by, we start getting bored, we start feeling silly, and we don't have the discipline required to stick to the path. Because discipline only comes when you do something that appeals to your heart. Then you don't worry about challenges, rather you relish them. You're not afraid of stepping outside your comfort zone because you know that is where true growth lies. And then you also develop true wisdom, which is being able to differentiate between logic and emotion, between what you need and what you want, and between useful and useless knowledge. Plus, you realize that there is so much that you don't know, and this ignorance is truly bliss because it brings enlightenment. Like Osho says, the real man of discipline never accumulates. Each moment he dies to whatsoever he has come to know and again becomes ignorant. The ignorance is luminous. So here's what you can do today. Take one task that you have been procrastinating on for a long time and ask yourself, how does this connect to a larger goal that I truly want to achieve? And notice how this tiny reframe will change your experience with that task. Now I know what you're thinking. Yes, all this is good, Vishal, but what about my time constraints, my financial pressures, or the sheer difficulty of changing my habits? All legit questions, but frankly, all excuses. Because there is nothing in what Osho teaches us that demands an overhaul in our lives. Osho isn't saying that you've got to renounce everything, retire to the mountains, sit in a monastery and meditate all the time. What Osho, or any saint for that matter, is really asking from you is to become conscious. Be aware of your compulsive behavior, of your conditioning, of your ego, and don't try to break them by force, because the more force you use, the stronger they will become. Just observe them like an outsider. Slowly, the thoughts, the activities, the beliefs that are holding you back will fall away, and you will start building real creativity, which will give your life meaning. Have you read this book? If yes, what are your favorite takeaways? And if you haven't read this book, do leave a comment and let me know what creativity means to you, how you use it in your life, and if you come across any challenges, what they are. I would love to hear from you. And until next time, namaste.